Honey garlic fried chicken. Not your normal fried chicken, but this is so delicious. My friend Jennifer at work gave me this recipe. I like to affectionately refer to her as Jennifer's Splashes and Dashes because she gives me these random recipes, sends me a picture, and I ask her what's in it, and it's like little of this, little of that, like a list and no quantities really or ratios. I gotta do a little research to figure it out. But worth every minute because it was so good. So we've got the dogs visiting here in this one. They smell the chicken and they're like, now, now. So I learned in my research that if you put meat in milk, or I did milk and salt and pepper, that the lactic acid in the milk will break down the fibers in the meat and tenderize it. So I thought this would be a great time to try that. So I stabbed it with my stabby thing, and you can use a fork if you don't have fancy stabby thing. and so first I started sticking it in the bowl of milk, and I'm like, that's not gonna fit. So I then just poured the bowl of milk into the other container with all the other meat. And it really did. I let it sit there for probably about an hour while I did the other stuff, and it really made it more tender, noticeably. Apparently, condensed milk works even better. Not sweetened condensed milk. What I mean is evaporated milk. So anyway, next, move on to the batter. This powdered batter mixture, I really loved. I'm actually now keeping, I'll make like 2 or 3 batches of it and keep it in a bag. Then if I want to bread something, I will just take a scoop or so out and then add water to this consistency of like pancake batter and use it. And it's been working great for a lot of things, actually, that I've been cooking. So then we've got the batter ready, and next for the sauce. So this is nice, salty and sweet. There's the cup of honey, chicken broth, almost a whole head of garlic, like 8 cloves of garlic in there. A little bit of sriracha. I did not accidentally double that this time. Use Tamari if you want it gluten-free, but of course my flour wasn't gluten-free, so that wouldn't work in this case. But if you were using a gluten-free flour, then stay with that. You would use Tamari. And you already know that if you're gluten-free anyhow. So then mix all of that together so it is ready to go so that I can simmer the sauce the same time that I am frying the chicken. Actually fry things very often, so I don't even have a thermometer. I just kind of wing it. So I put in the vegetable oil, and then I'll drop a bit of the batter in there, or an egg, or whatever it is that however I'm doing it. And then when I plop that in there and it floats up and starts cooking, then I know that it's ready. So here, my husband ruined my 12-inch skillet, as you can see. Just walked away from it, left it there, and it got ruined. But I got a new one today in the mail, so it's okay. That's how we get new pans. I'm simmering the sauce on the left, frying the chicken on the right, and you want that to be done so that my fancy thermometer that you just stab it in there. I don't do it while it's in the oil because I don't want it to take the temp of the oil. Same thing with the barbecue. Take it out and then it and then put it back if it's not ready yet. So you want this chicken to be at least minimum 165 degrees Fahrenheit. And first piece was earlier than the rest, which I guess is logical. So also like and subscribe if you like this. You'll get hit the notification bell, and then you'll get notified when I, do new videos. So you can see so far it's turning out super juicy. The outside's browned just perfectly. Here I realize the 2 tablespoons of flour that went into the sauce, it's not going to be enough. You can see the sauce is just not thick enough, even though it's simmering there nice. So I took a couple spoons of the batter, logically, put it in the remaining water that I had not added in there yet. Cold water, of course. And that way I could just add that to the sauce and give it that extra bit of thickening that it needed. It was a really nice, garlicky, sweet, and salty sauce. And then, so on the side, In the background, I steamed rice because, I do that all the time. And I had a zucchini that was ready that day, so I grated it up and I added it to my zucchini, or no, to my rice, I mean. So that's those green flecks that are in the rice. It doesn't even taste like zucchini, but you get some extra vegetables there, and it makes the rice a little more moist. So whenever a small zucchini is ready, I'll just add it to the rice, and I'll do that with my homemade dog food too. Just grate it up and put it in the rice portion and get some more vegetables. Ooh, oh, saucy, juicy, crispy on the outside. I didn't even really need that fork. You'll see in a moment. Oh, that was such a delicious bite. Just so juicy and tender. I was like, dang, that's so good. I'm going to have another bite. And see, I didn't even need a fork. I mean, I did need a fork. I didn't even need a knife because I just put the fork right through it. See how tender? It's just so delicious, so tender and juicy. I'm like thanking Jennifer. Thank you so much for the recipe. I'm using that breading for other things too, and it helped me learn about the whole tenderizing trick with milk. So anyway, I hope you like it if you try it. Thanks for watching. Subscribe if you like it and you want to see more. Bye.